This is the dream bike of every mini motocross kid. It's Landen Gordon's factory Team Green Kawasaki KX112 Supermini. Landen Gordon is moving on to bigger and better things with the KX250 4-stroke with the Team Green Kawasaki program, but this is the bike that he won at Loretta's on this year. It was his last Supermini race, Supermini 2 class. He got the championship on this Kawasaki, and today we have Mowlgi Roe. He's a new test rider for the MXA Wrecking Crew. He's gonna ride this thing and tell us all about it. I'm gonna swing a leg over it as well, see what it's like to ride a factory KX112 Supermini, and share with you guys all we know about it in this video. All right, I'm here with Mario Testa of Team Green Kawasaki. He's the mechanic, and he's the guy who spent hundreds of hours working on these Super Minis for Landen Gordon and for the other Team Green Kawasaki guys.
So I'm a race technician for our factory amateur guys, as well as I do trackside support for Kawasaki at a lot of races.
That's cool. So double duty of taking care of your factory amateur riders while also supporting the Team Green local riders that show up at each race.
Yep.
And privateers. Running through this bike, this is a Pro Circuit masterpiece. Now, if you guys remember, James Stewart raced the Kawasaki KX100 in his Supermini days. Adam Cianciarulo raced the Kawasaki. Austin Forkner raced the Kawasaki. So this bike has not really changed since James Stewart. It's basically the same overall bike. Kawasaki did introduce the KX112 engine in 2022. Before that, they sold it as a KX100. Otherwise, there's a lot of time that Mitch Payton and Schneike know all the ins and outs about this bike. One big thing about it, though, that Mario explained is super important for this chassis is A-kit Pro Circuit suspension.
You know, he's a little bit bigger for your, not bigger, but taller. So like for the taller kids, they get a little bit more stability out of it. It just works, you know, frees the bike up for them underneath, and it's a better feel. And
obviously, it's got Pro Circuit triple clamps to work with the bigger A-kit forks. It's also got stock wheels on it. The frame is stock. Subframe is actually made into the frame, so that's pretty interesting. It's got a tall seat on here because Landen Gordon is a tall fella. And then diving into the rest of it, there's a couple custom pieces. They've tried the dual radiator before. Why don't you guys run that?
We have, I think, in just certain situations, it's not really necessary.
Yeah.
So, you know, the oversized one seems to work the best in a lot of situations and keeps the bike cool enough.
I like it.
We don't have any problems.
Yeah, you said it almost was too cool with dual radiators on it, right?
Correct. Yeah, in certain situations, it'll just be too cool. And honestly, a lot of the time, practice bikes and stuff like that for Landen, it's just the stock radiator.
Stock radiator.
And it's perfectly fine. It's just at Loretta's, you know, you take a couple extra precautions than normal because it's Loretta's. So,
it's Loretta's.
You know?
So this thing survived Loretta's. It won Loretta's in the Supermini 2 class, and it's pretty fun to go over the details of it. Obviously, it has Pro Circuit linkage to go with the A-kit suspension. Looking over the rest of it, it's got a Hinson clutch inside of it. The brakes, you said, are stock, but you do some cool little heat shrink fitments on there as well. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so like on the front brake line right here, as you see, this is just heat shrink that I pull over the line and heat shrink it up and cut the stock stuff off. It's a better fit, and it keeps, you know, water out of the line, because you'll see a lot of bikes will get like, well, this one's not clear, but like on the rear brake line, it'll keep the water out of the line, and just it's better. Honestly, it looks cleaner.
Honestly, that's what makes Mario a factory mechanic, is that the effort that he goes into and the elbow grease he puts into this bike. He's got heat shrink all over it. So I see it once here on the front brake. Yep. You've got it on the rear brake.
Yep.
He's got heat shrink on the hour meter cables, protecting those. Also on the overflow hoses. So you can tell This man has spent some late nights in the shop working on this bike, so you got a lot of time into the swing arm as well. How long does it take to polish that swing arm and make it look as good as it does?
So that one, you know, it had Loretta's on it, so it had all the mud, so I had to get some scratches out of it. So you know, if a brand new one takes longer, so maybe 2-3 hours on a brand new one, but like if they're already done, even like, you know, a big bike frame, the same thing, you know, a couple hours. It just depends upon the condition it's in. That's cool. When you get to it.
That's cool. So talking about also the engine and just how important it is to have the fastest bike possible. Mitch Payton will build up, you said 4 to 5 cylinders, and then you guys will run through it on the dyno to see which one dyno's best. Even though Mitch Payton is doing the exact same thing on all 4 of them, there's still minor differences that some bikes will dyno better and put us a little more power just based on happen chance, right?
Correct. Yeah, so Mitch will do the cylinders, and then we pick the best ones that'll work. Awesome. That'll work for it, you know?
Simple as that. Also, can you explain what's different about this carburetor versus a stock carburetor?
Yeah, so Mitch and Schneike have come up with a really good carb mod for the 112 as well as the 85, and all our factory kids are on it now. Cool. As well, and I believe they've been doing it for years too before I was in the picture. But it's a little bit shorter, and they do some different stuff internally that makes the throttle response really good on it. Awesome.
And then in addition to that, because the carburetor is shorter, you guys actually cut out a bar pad. It's a great bar pad, so you can't really see it. That's put in underneath. Do you like glue it to the cases? Or
no, because the bar pad sticks up high enough to where you don't have to do that, and it just gives it a little bit more stability and just precaution. So that's the name of the game. When you're talking about a factory mechanic, it's all about precautions and going the extra mile. Just like a little bit of wire tie up here on the clutch, wire tie on the rear brake, and those extra little things keep this thing protected. Pretty funny though to see a little bit of handlebar foam underneath the carburetor. A couple other mods, they got a Pro Circuit throttle tube. They also got the Works Connection Pro Launch starting device, Pro Circuit pipe and silencer. It's got the TI2 Kevlar shorty silencer on there. The thing looks very factory. Also, explain what you did to the foot pegs. Yeah, so the foot pegs, these are actually big bike foot pegs, and all I do is I cut them down to make them work on the 112, because the mini bike comes with like a real small foot peg, so a lot of the guys like a bigger, you know, better feel. Yeah, much bigger platform there. Overall, this thing is pretty trick. 1.8 radiator cap and stock wheels. That's pretty impressive. Landen Gordon is a fast amateur, fast enough to win the Super Mini class. He does it on stock wheels. You got ARC levers and clutch perch, pretty exciting. Now it's time to talk to Mowgli, our test rider, and hear what he thought of the bike. What was your impression of riding this thing? So you normally ride a KTM, right? Yeah. And first impressions, like what was it like hopping on a factory Kawi 112?
It was like so much faster, and it was more like on the top end instead of bottom end like the KTM.
Yeah, so from a stock KTM 105 to a KX112, it's a little bit of a difference there. Also, this thing is built to the tilt, I think that's how you say it, as fast as it could possibly go for a KX112.
It feels lighter, and I feel like I can throw it around more than my KTM. It's like I can scrub easier.
Nice, and he was looking pretty cool on the scrubs today. Easier to handle. Did you feel like it was easier to get traction in the corners at all? Or?
Oh yeah, like midway through the corner, like it's right there.
Really?
Like if I grab gas, it's just shooting out.
That's cool. How much do you weigh?
95 pounds.
95 pounds. So the suspension's actually set for Landen Gordon, and he's at 115 pounds. So he's got 20 pounds on you. How did it feel suspension-wise? Stiffer or softer? Or where
it felt like super stiff, but like going through like rollers and then like ruts and stuff, it felt way better.
Nice. That's cool. Factory bike, first time ever riding one, huh?
Yeah.
What's something that you didn't expect that you found when you rode this bike?
I didn't expect it to be like so much on the top end. I felt like it would have been more on the bottom end. I didn't expect it to be that fast. The brakes were like right there. If I like grabbed it, it would like kind of stab, so I had to like ease into the brakes at the start.
If you had to take one thing from this bike and put it on your KTM 105, what's one aspect that you like about it? The power, the suspension, what do you like about it?
Probably the power. I'd probably put the whole engine on my bike. Probably.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it. We might have to do that. KX112 and a KTM frame, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
All right, guys, so fun times on Landen Gordon's Super Mini class winning bike from Loretta's. I had fun watching Mowgli ride this thing, but now it's my turn to go take a couple laps. Let's see if I survive on this thing.
Yeah.
Wow, this thing is impressive. I used to race with Adam Cincerillo when he was on a Supermini, basically this same bike. Now I understand a little bit why he was so much faster than me. Not really, I had good bikes too, but man, this thing rips. I was really impressed with how fast it pulled me up the hills, and it didn't even drop. If I shifted up too early, it wasn't like a 125 that really dipped in power too much. Like it carried me really well. So I weigh 170 pounds on a KX112 Supermini, and this thing pulls me pretty well around the track. All right, hope you guys enjoy this type of video. Subscribe to the Motocross Action YouTube channel and click the bell button to get notified when we release a new video. Check us out on Instagram at Motocross Action Mag. See you in the next video.